r/ask Reddit. Which subculture annoys you the most? Dunno if this has already been stated, but I hate weed culture. I smoke, and I'm all for legalization and recreational use, but I hate trying to talk with heavy potheads or stoners about anything weed related. Like that documentary that gets reposted to r/documentaries 50 times a week. It says, have you ever wondered if there's a plant with 2,000 different recreational uses and can cure many deadly diseases? It's obnoxious and annoying. Edit. The post in question https://www.reddit.com/documentaries/66g the most powerful plant on earth 2017 what if st equals j6q8h5lt and equals 5e78 afdb. Well, we don't care about them at all and just want to get high s. Vape lords. I vape. I do it in the privacy of my own home. I don't brag about my setup nor care about yours. We're both addicted to nicotine. It's not that cool. Yep, I used one for 10 months to quit smoking. It worked great as a cessation tool. I was courteous and discreet about when and where I used it. Many people are not, and use it for years, and obnoxiously so. But I've been smoke free over 3 years, and haven't used a vape in over 2. Edit. Oh geez. Thanks for the gold. Good for you, man. Hope I can kick the habit one day. If you do, you're acting white. I am a minority and I've grown up with friends who are also minorities. This type of mentality is so toxic and can be flat out racist. I remember a friend of mine not wanting to lose weight and eat healthier because her parents would tell her it wasn't their culture. Another friend who was told if they speak properly they're speaking white. Or in my own family, when I was trying diet and eating chicken and vegetables, they said, why are you eating like white people? Edit. Wow. I did not expect this much response. You guys are great. I'm glad that I wasn't the only one that felt this way. Keep on keeping on, Redditors. Do what you like and duck what everyone else says. Edit 2. After reading the comments, I realized that maybe my comments sounded one-sided. This was based on my own experience, and when I wrote this I was half asleep after the night shift at work. I went to a diverse college and I recall some of my white friends afraid to like certain artists or do certain things because people would say the same if you do X. You're insert race here. Sometimes I'm like, can you just duck off and leave me alone, lol. Seriously though, I've learned to have the attitude of if you don't pay my bills, you get no opinion. My brother tutors inner city kids and he tells me all the time about kids getting ridiculed for trying to learn and getting good grades. That they're acting white. That shit is toxic and self-destructive. You can't go anywhere if you keep tearing yourself down. Incels. There is some serious untreated mental illness going on in that community. Just about all of them are most likely clinically depressed, and many of them probably have more serious issues. Rather than deal with those issues, they externalize them all and blame women for everything. The funny thing is, it's the one subreddit that all of Reddit collectively hates. Liberal, conservative, Democrat, Republican, gamers, anime fans, potheads, skinheads, doesn't matter. Everyone doesn't like the incels. It's probably one of the few things that Reddit can all agree on, outside the incels themselves. The funny thing is, it's the one subreddit that all of Reddit collectively hates. They even hate themselves. It's one of the saddest communities. I'm not really sure that's the best word I've had the displeasure to stumble across. Rick and Morty culture is ducking pathetic. To be clear, that show is both very funny and very smart. I do get it, but the people who use it like a ducking guidebook for their own life are the lowest bottom feeding inept invertebrates of our era. It is a ducking TV show that satirizes modern life and customs using extreme versions of ideas personified. It is the same shit as the kids who watched Fight Club and became Antifa, or the people who watched V for Vendetta and now identify as anarchists. How little meaning and depth must your life have that a piece of media can come to define your existence and thought? Read more ducking books. Develop a more three-dimensional personality and understanding. Then watch these fun critiques. Laugh. Maybe learn a bit. But be enough of a person to not become consumed by the first moderately intelligent thought that passes through your thick dome. Edit. Spelling the right word. I'm just like Rick. My intelligence makes me depressed. Oh, so edgy and tortured. Ladies love that dude. Fandoms that are obsessed with shipping their favorite characters then overly sexualizing them. Edit. Since many people are asking, shipping, initially derived from the word relationship, is the desire by fans for two or more people, either real life people or fictional characters, to be in a relationship, romantic or otherwise. r/anime on suicide watch. r/hand holding. I'm not sure if it's the most, but there's a special place in my rage heart for anyone who has to describe music genres with 8 different adjectives. No, bro, this is different. This is newcore screecher metal. You're thinking of screecher metalcore. Nope, I live a Crayola 8-pack life and I don't have time for that shit in any capacity. I live a Crayola 8-pack livery, want to have some version of this carved onto my tombstone. Even worse in the EDM scene, where you're divided by your BPM preference. Artists. I love art, but there's a shit ton of pretentiousness I wish wasn't there. I love art and do my own art too, but I agree, musicians, painters, photographers, etc. There will always be a group of them that thinks everything they do is beyond amazing. They're so much better than everyone else and couldn't possibly have anything to learn from anyone or benefit from constructive criticism. I'm happy with my level of talent, but there will always be someone better than me, and I'm always happy to take advice or suggestions as long as it's done respectfully. Sometimes it's not helpful and sometimes it is. I'm not Freddie Mercury or Van Gogh or Ansel Adams. Why would I look down on someone else who is doing what I love, and why would I pass up the opportunity to potentially grow and get better? I went to art school and, in their defense, they sort of have to, just to keep going often you have to think you're great, or you stop after 2 years, especially if you haven't generated money. The second reason is they have to sell themselves to prospective buyers. Yes, themselves. Often more than the product they are making. They are the product. No one's really going to hire someone who's like, I think I'm getting good. Nah, they want someone who talks the talk and looks confident. Competitive moms. Oh god, mom communities are so horrible. Seriously, I left my main mom group after every gathering turned into who can throw the best party, and when moms would be like, let's have a play date, and then some other mom would be like, let's make it a potluck, and then, how much money can I pitch in to make this play date amazing? F that noise. I just want to show up with my kid whilst sporting sweatpants, messy hair, and a cup of coffee and watch our children poorly share with each other. Edit. Everyone's responses have made me giggle. Thank you. I hang out in smaller numbers now, with women who get it. I'm grateful to not have to keep up with the Janices and do my thing. Parenting is hard enough already without women being competitive. People that think that their astrological sign has something to do with their personality. Like, no, you're not a beach because you're X sign, you're a beach because you are a beach. When I was younger, people told me I was moody or wishy-washy or whatever because I'm a Gemini. This summer I found out that, while I am a Gemini, my real problem is that I'm bipolar. What if you're bipolar because you're Gemini? Stans. Worshipping and obsessing over celebrities' internet personalities, making your entire identity based around them, etc. It's honestly pretty disturbing to see how so much of their time and energy is devoted to a single person, who doesn't even know they exist, and likely never will, considering the term originated from the Eminem song, and they openly use it and embrace it. You figure they'd realize how ducking weird it is. I'm sure some of them are just kids who don't know any better, but I know there are older teens and young adults who do this stuff as well. Edit. Apparently the term stan is just used interchangeably with fan in a lot of fan bases. My post isn't about normal fans, or even longtime fans who have all of an artist's music, merch, etc. This is about people who craft their identities and personalities around them, spend every waking moment devoted to them, know every detail about their personal lives, and in some cases, even stalk them in real life. That's what the term was originally supposed to be about. But it's clearly lost some meaning by people not using it properly. If you don't like the negative connotation that it brings, you probably shouldn't be using it to describe yourself unless you're actually a stan. At first I thought you meant inhabitants of some Near Eastern countries. Me too. I thought, what the duck did Kyrgyzstan do to you? Straight edge kids. I'm fine with sobriety, but when they started knocking cigarettes and drinks out of people's hands and beating up the drunkest people they could find, I stopped going to shows. The straight edge kids I grew up around stopped following after they turned 21. They harassed everyone for not being straight edge, and then the minute they were of legal drinking age, they were drinking. Friend in high school was a borderline alcoholic but was crazy against smoking pot. At a party senior year, a group of us went outside to smoke a bowl and he said he wanted to join. We were shocked but also kind of excited that he had come around. We gave him first hit and he blew into the bowl as hard as he could, making all the weed fly out. It was very clearly intentional. He let out a half-assed "oops my bad" and went back inside. He was very drunk, so we weren't gonna call him on it just to hear him insist it was an accident, but we all knew him well and it was clearly not a mistake. People who ruin beautiful old wood furniture by antiquing it with milk paint and then sanding the edges corners to make it look worn, thereby guaranteeing you can't strip and refinish it. Duck them and their shabby chic aesthetic. No, dummy, you didn't rehab it. You just ruined a beautiful solid oak dresser and now I want to punch you. Edit. My bigger problem is when people try to resell these antiqued items at some kind of insane markup, as if they have improved the object. If people were doing this shit in the privacy of their own homes and not parading it around in public, that would be fine. Shabby chic your home to your heart's content, but keep it away from me. Antique, handcrafted wood furniture is generally of excellent quality and is increasingly hard to come by, so seeing a piece of it ruined breaks my heart. And no, I'm not Ron Swanson, but my husband is pretty dang close. A friend of mine worked at an exclusive furniture shop and his job was to make their new items look a bit worn. A perfectly good looking new couch, for instance. He had to sand the seats, find some dust, etc., and make it look like it came out of a rich old grandma's house. Then they would sell it for a lot of money. It was horrible really, but people paid for it. The whole Mac versus Windows and Android versus iPhone debate. WHO, the duck cares. Just use what's best for you. Edit. I forgot Linux. Also, I need to clarify something based on the replies I'm getting. When I say use what's best for you, I mean use what's best for you. Both Mac and PC have their ups and downs, and same with iPhone and Android. They are built for different types of people and different audiences. Nobody started the debate. Nobody is at fault. Nobody is unequivocally better than the other. Use what you want and leave everyone else alone. Edit to it. The damage egos and superiority complexes of people being told their devices aren't necessarily the best. This has been going on in various forms since it was Slate v Granite as a stone table thing with Ugg and Throg back in the old days. Slate FTW. Get out Granite scum. A lot of stuff has already been mentioned, such as stoners, SJWs, anti-SJWs, anti-education Republicans, people who are way too into their fandoms, adulting, etc. But one that hasn't been mentioned that annoys the shit out of me is what I call gluten-free yoga types. They think they're better than you and think they have all of the answers to life based on their pseudoscience. Depressed? You should just practice mindfulness. Struggle with chronic illness? It's all of that gluten you're eating. Stressed out? Do some yoga. Having some trouble at work? Shove some kale up your ass. They live by the word of Dr. Oz, David Wolfe, Chris Carr, etc. There's a 50% chance they believe that veggies can cure cancer and that vaccines cause autism. Worst of all, they preach this to you endlessly and just won't shut up about how much better they think they are than you. I had a boss like this once. She drove me nuts. Oh yes, the live laugh lovers. Eat shit die. I just ducking hate people. I'm just sick of people doing shit. I know this will probably be a touchy subject, but here goes. People who have a mixed heritage and choose to only embrace part of it because they think it's cool. For example, in college I knew a guy with the last name of Sullivan. Trust me when I say the only Irish thing about him was his last name. An actual quote by his mom and by his so. He always had to be wearing something green and wouldn't be caught dead without at least one clover leaf on him. He even insisted that everyone called him Irish instead of using his real name. I've met a number of people like this trying to be unique. The last thing they are is unique. To be honest, it is possible to just connect to one of the cultures more for whatever reason in your upbringing. For me it was that I just had more contact with that side of the family, but yet, the example you quote does seem to be a case of doing it for the cool. It's seemingly only many generation Americans with no connection to their heritage at all that do this. Recipe bloggers. Now, I like getting recipes online and appreciate some tips and a few relevant photos, but I don't want to scroll through 38 pictures taken from slightly different angles and 70 paragraphs about your home renovation, new camera, amazing products, and this cute thing your kid did. Just give me the damn recipe. Duck stories that come with recipes, man. I don't give a shit about the time you went to Morocco with your friend and ate couscous which inspired you to make the recipe. One paragraph is fine, but when you got pages of this shit before you hit the recipe it get annoying. I also hate this, but not as much as I hate the people who change the entire recipe, don't like it, and then review it harshly. Well, I thought it looked too spicy so all I used was pepper, and also I was out of salt so I didn't use any of that either. It was easy enough to make but came out pretty bland. 1 star. Double quote. Weeaboos. I don't think I want to know, but I am going to ask anyways. WTF is a weeaboo? Someone who thinks Japan is a magic anime land and learns Japanese from anime. Fanboy gamer culture. PC versus console. COD versus Battlefield. Xbox versus PlayStation. Duck all of that. Play what you want to play and let everyone else do the same. Americans, usually white, who, when it's convenient, claim to have Native American ancestry. Typically, this person has no idea if they really have Cherokee blood, and it's almost always Cherokee, or they have some distant relative who might have been native, but often aren't 100% sure if they ever were. For example, I know this white girl who brings up her native heritage whenever she gets injured in nature. She recently was bitten by a poisonous snake and truly believes that her Cherokee blood will ward off the toxins. She said this from a hospital bed while receiving the appropriate antitoxins. Her Facebook friends wrote comments like, "You are becoming the Cherokee snake charming Earth Mother and soon you will be able to attract snakes and control them. Embrace your Cherokee spirit." She wrote back that she was researching natural herbal remedies like a true Cherokee. This is so ducking offensive. Having native ancestry does not give you snake charming superpowers. And you're reducing this entire group of people, one of the most oppressed, marginalized groups in our country's history, to a stereotype so you can IDK, look cool to your friends, feel like you in some way have been oppressed a victim when you haven't, work. My father-in-law always made the claim that he had Cherokee blood, always brought it up talking about his ancestry as a point of pride. He's also overly conservative. He would always try to use it anytime some native group was supported by the left. Most recent I remember is Dakota Access Pipeline, or anyone pointed out that the US committed genocide and natives deserve some compensation or anything like that, saying something like, "I have Cherokee blood and I made it just fine." I always hold my tongue when he says this stuff because I only really see him about a week of the year and it's stressful enough without getting into arguments. But I want to mention the fact that his family wasn't forcibly removed from their land, or forced to grow up in a shitty trailer park on a reservation, or hundreds of other examples of mistreatment suffered by Native Americans. So even if he does have Cherokee blood, his family escaped the mistreatment that this normally would have brought, and this says nothing about the ones who couldn't escape this mistreatment. Then last year he did one of those ancestry DNA tests. Not a single spot on the map in his report was outside of Western Europe. Othakins. Sorry, but you're just an ordinary human like the rest of us. The worst type of Othakin are fiction keen, creepy people coopting an already established character and claiming to be them and speak for them. And of course, they're always nothing like that character. Reduce that character to one aspect of their personality, and freak out if you criticize the character. In my younger teens I tried participating in some fandom stuff for the Warrior Cats books on Tumblr. Cute fanart and stuff was enjoyable and nostalgic, but all the ducking fiction keen just ruined it. You can't have any discussion about the book's ND characters without a fiction keen going apeshit. Sure, that character was very incel and tried to murder 3 youths because he was rejected. But OMG, I'm Ash fucking please do not insult Ash for you woo, it's very hurtful and wrong. Sure, that character repeatedly attempted murder was very hateful, but all these ducking fiction keen insist that he's an innocent and sweet cinnamon roll even if he was eagerly working with the denizens of cat hell in an attempt to slaughter all the living cats. God, I ducking hate fiction keen. I can't remember where I first heard the idea, but it's a lot of fun to imagine it in reverse. Set the scene. Morda. 2 Uruk-hai are chatting about the upcoming battle. Oh sorry Dave, I can't make it to the battle. I'm going round Steve's cave to LARP. You see, his kin type is a 36-year-old accountant from Milton Keynes, and we're going to pretend we've got technological powers. Fitspiration Instagram and Snapchat personalities communities. I have nothing against encouraging fitness, but they create some massively unrealistic expectations about looks and life. Everything about their life looks 100% perfect through the lens of perfectly curated social media content. Not everyone can drink $20 fruit cleanse drinks in their beautiful remodeled kitchen, work out for 4 hours, and keep their house immaculately clean with 7 perfect looking children. When you combine that with a lot of people feeling bad about themselves and looking for inspiration to get in shape and better themselves, it's going to cause problems. Right now, it's the white nationalists. I was sitting in the airport the other day and looking around. All I see is diversity. That's the reality of who we are. We are a melting pot. Goose stepping around pretending that's not true is just so much idiocy. The US is one of the most culturally diverse countries in the world. I've never understood how people can pigeonhole what makes an American into one specific culture. All the other subcultures people complain about seem so damn petty when there are white nationalists and neo-Nazis out there. The people who don't shower, brush their teeth, change clothes or wear deodorant when going to place with a large amount of people. Fighting game tournaments and conventions mostly. Jesus, the rank smell coming from the anime fighting games room at Summer Jam was awful. I used to live with this nasty person who would say to me stuff like showering is too hard and God I can't be asked to keep up with who expects me to be clean and wear deodorant and who does not. Dude, everyone ducking expects you to be clean. Everyone. Duck UHJH. Radfem's turfs, mostly because feminism does still have genuine goals and complaints, but when you get one or two loud, crazy man haters you invalidate all the sensible points being made. Turfs suck. Programmers. Do I like programming? Yep. Do I like socializing with people? Sure do. Do I enjoy hanging out with the guys? Absolutely. Do I want to do that at work? Duck no. Give me a job. I'll complete the job. Give me money. Alright, see you Monday. Not into the whole startup culture that is so pervasive these days. So many new companies that advertise all kinds of shit like free food, bouncy balls, Nerf wars, etc. Which are good and all, but it's clearly designed to make the 80-hour weeks and high turnover more tolerable. No thanks. Put me with the veterans of the field so I can learn some real shit and get something worthwhile done. Tumblr, almost as a whole. I say this as someone who has an account and I reblog art and post fiction there. I hate the anti-Tumblr derision and bile that Reddit likes to put out, but Tumblr has some deep-seated problems. It's rife with call-out culture, sarcasm, illness glorification, fetishism, and constant one-upmanship. The hypocrisy runs incredibly deep, and the fact that the majority of its users are under 21 is not good because they don't realize how easy it is to surround yourself with really dogmatic thoughts and blind disagreement. The worst is how steadfastly progressive many Tumblr users scream about being, but will cut down progressive media if it's got a few flaws. It's really, really ugly. This being said, Tumblr is what you make of it. The only things that show up on your dash are the posts of those you have followed. If you want your Tumblr to be full of writing prompts and tits, only follow those kinds of blogs. That's the only reason I'm still sane, is because I limit the toxic shit showing up on my dash. The 100,000 basic beach Instagram girls who are nearly indistinguishable from one another. They take identical photos, i.e. the folded hand new manicure shot, the holding a coffee cup with shoes visible under shot, the these are my legs by the pool shot, the holding an object over one eye shot, the titted head holding a product shot, the this is my hand holding an ice cream cone shot. 8. 000 repeat duck faces etc. Posing in the same 5 poses, usually wearing a variation of the same 5 clothing articles. And then they top off all this creative originality with a list of the airports of the cities they have lived in. Lacks SFOYYR. Call themselves a foodie or a UG or a traveler, followed by 1850 emoticons. These are adults, mind you, many over 30 years old. Jesus Christ, those photo descriptions are painfully accurate. Amosexuals. I'm a gun owner, and I absolutely love going out to the range and blowing through some rounds on a nice day. But if you're the guy who has to wear surplus camo, own so many air mods that your car barely runs and you live in a shithole, has any kind of sheepdog patch, sticker, or hat, everything is Velcro subdued on the tactical vest that you own for some reason, I ducking hate you. I will bet any amount of money that that same a-hole is spewing some racial or political extremism if he thinks you're one of them. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.